Some Man, I might need to turn that down. That was really loud. Hey, folks, welcome to another Ask Us Anything call with LifterLMS live with Emily and Kurt. Magic Emily Middleton, how are you?
I'm good. I am excited for today. I got plenty of sleep last night. I am going to get tacos after this call, so I've got a lot to look forward to.
Oh, what kind of tacos you gonna get?
Probably a chorizo burrito, honestly. Like, they have a lot of things, and I'll decide when I'm at the menu and see what's intuitive, but that's probably what I'm going to go for.
Do they have barilla?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh,
I
burrilla tacos are so good with the dipping sauce, a little au jus on the side. Oh, yes! Oh, man, I get so hungry. So hungry. All right. Well, let's I'm not that excited about food today. I apparently I have a blizzard coming. It's like 35, 40 degrees outside right now and it's sunny, but apparently there's a blizzard on the way to Kansas. So we'll have to see what this is about. There was some guru on the internet yesterday talking about how this is going to be worse than the ice storm of 2023 down in Texas. And I was like, whatever, dude. We'll just endure, I got solar on the camper van. If I need to, I'll go sleep in there. Let's see. Gary, welcome to the call. He's breaking out a little Espanol. Hola, amigos, from Gary Alderson, the frozen Winnipeg. -40. Barbecue weather is over. You know what? I have a picture somewhere in my Google Photos of last year when I was smoking a brisket in a snowdrift. You can still cook. You can still cook. Get that barbecue going. Put on a parka and stand over the coals. You're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. -40 Celsius equals -40 Fahrenheit. Who knew? Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Pretty awesome. And apparently we're advertising for people. Kudos to Nick Mariano for his help with our issue. Did it have something to do with quizzes? And then Dell says, good morning from Duncan, BC. Duncan. All right. Good morning, Dell. All right. Hans Joachim Kenman is on with us. Velbert, now help me. Is that Velbert, Delaware, or is that Velbert like Denmark or something? Because the name to me looks like something out of Denmark.
Yeah, it's Germany. I think, but I would imagine based on the city name that it's Germany.
I would think. Yep, he says Germany. Ding, 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 ding. An award for Emily. All right. Hold on. We can do that. Hold on. Where is it? Yay. That's me. I'm that guy. And let's do put the music on. Yeah. Emily likes the night driving.
It's good.
Oh, okay. Dell says that's for sure. I read the explanation in email. It looks good so far. Thanks for sending me a copy, Gary. Perfect. Okay. Folks, here's the deal. I'll start putting some of these things up, but ask your questions in the chat. As you see, some people are already joining us. These are folks that have seen or heard us before. If you're new, I welcome you. Jump in. Who are you? Where you're from? Do you use Lifter? Let's have a conversation and use comments to make that happen. If you have not tried LifterLMS yet, I want to encourage you to go to lifterlms.com/try. That'll lead you to a link that gives a 30-day hosted example of a fully populated, fully enabled Infinity version of LifterLMS. So if you're like, what would I do if I had an e-learning website? What would I do if I could have an online course? What would it look like if I had, members and students and memberships and payment gateways? And so if your brain is like, can't picture building all that from scratch, the lifterlms.com/try is the best way to experiment with it on someone else's server for $1 for 30 days. It's the best way to go, I think. And last but not least, in my obligatory messages up front, get your LifterLMS 55% off coupon at lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. That was /AMA-gift at lifterlms.com. All right, and let me get rid of that. And now we go back to comments, and there's nothing there. So, Emily, what do you want to talk about if no one wants to ask any questions?
That's a good question. We can talk about a lot of things.
And while you're thinking of something, I'm going to go off to our spreadsheet and see if anyone's asked anything ahead of time.
Yeah, I think that we could talk about branding. I was talking a lot about branding yesterday with some clients, and we're just kind of figuring out how we're going to establish a brand in an industry. It's a medical industry, and differentiate ourselves from existing product offers. And so we're just going really deep in the think tank on that. What's being offered is a free product. And so it's like, if we're offering free informational, courses and stuff, how are we going to compare with the other ones that are offering the similar free kinds of content and differentiate? And so coming up with a brand, like really making a strong brand. Obviously, we have a logo, we have a name, we have generally a vibe established. We lean more into simplicity than competitors, but what can we do to add distinction and differentiation? So that's kind of fun.
Just reminds me of a book by Seth Godin. Have you read the book The Purple Cow by Seth Godin? No. So that is it's a marketing book. Seth Godin's like this, very prolific author, and writes a lot of marketing stuff. The purple cow is this idea, like, if there was a purple cow in the middle of a field, everybody would see it and talk about it because, duh, it's a purple cow, right? And so then the concept then becomes, well, how do you become, or how do you make yourself like this purple cow? And in this era where there's so much noise on the internet and on social media, and like, here's the thing, I've been on TikTok for years, right? I'm one of these old weird people that like TikTok like from the beginning. I'm like an early adopter for tons of stuff though. So I've been on TikTok forever. And then all of a sudden in the last like 3 months, I'm seeing all these WordPress people popping up like some guru or expert on TikTok. And I'm like, this is weird. Like LifterLMS is on TikTok now, right? So Lifter's on TikTok. Jonathan from WP Tonic all of a sudden is going, hello, welcome back everybody, on TikTok. Poodle Press, Michelle Frechette, just tons of people. Like, I'm seeing a bunch of people on TikTok, and it creates a lot of noise. So if all these people get on TikTok and start talking about, I'm the guru for WordPress, how do you establish yourself as a guru in WordPress in that sea of that cacophony of just noise and distraction? And it's getting harder and harder, I think. I remember people that hear this might get like upset or jealous, right? But if you go back to when Mañana No Mas actually started in 2008, we managed multiple Twitter accounts, because it was called Twitter back then. We managed multiple Twitter accounts and Facebook fan pages, because they used to call them fan pages, for multiple clients. And because we had access to all of those accounts, both in Facebook and Twitter, when we would sign up a new account, we would instantly just cross post with other accounts, as long as like the posts were like relevant. And we would get a new client, 2,500, 3,000 like organic engaged followers. And people would like post and comment and like and share organically, naturally. It wasn't like now. Like now, whenever you make a piece of content, you're like, don't forget to like, comment, and share, right? Because there's like so much crud out there that it's people just don't do it organically anymore, because they're just awash in all of this nonsense. like us going live every week.
Yeah.
So it's just really interesting. When you say talk about marketing, and then you think about that book, How to Be the Purple Cow, what are some things that jump off the page to you?
I think a lot about, there's a lot of things that can make your brand special. A lot of the people I work with are struggling with, well, I don't know, really, you could split it either way. I see people either struggle with not including enough personality, intrigue, and excitement in their brand, and then, so maybe they're too corporate. And then on the other hand, the information might not be as potent as it could be. And so we kind of have to find a balance of both. For example, I have some clients who are working with an incredible amount of personality, personal insight, interest, and things like that. But what we're struggling with is to get anyone to relate to the message out of the box and really see the value in what their program offers specifically. And so what we're trying to tailor is maybe dial it back, include rather than having 18 books at the top of our funnel, maybe we have one book that we're promoting at a time. We can change that book, we can split test which book we're promoting, but we probably want a singular book at the top of our funnel, something that we promote to everyone. And I don't know if it's brand secrets or something, but Russell Brunson is a funnel person and had this one book that he was pushing for 3 years. And what we do is we publish a new book every 6 months or a year. But it's hey, why don't we stick with one book for a while and really try to get people to resonate with that message before writing another book? And so, or at least promoting another book to the top of our funnel. It's kind of what we're thinking about there. Or with brands that don't have enough personality, why don't we change our copywriting style to really engage people on a relatable level, like they're talking to a person who loves them, has their interests in mind.
It is exceedingly difficult, though, to keep that organized and in check. So I'll use Mañana No Mas. I have no problems talking about my failures publicly. So I'll use Mañana No Mas as an example, right? I'm going to be an e-learning supplier, right? My agency does a lot of e-learning work. And so I thought, well, it would make sense if I had an academy in my website then, because it's a working example that I use what I sell. So I made this big academy, 18 or 20 courses in it, all these great leadership and organizational trainings and all the stuff was in there. And goose egg, nobody wanted that crap, right? And, you live and you learn, right? I did a couple examples of community sites, right? But I didn't have a community yet, so it didn't make any sense. I just had this dead piece of tech hanging out on the internet. And a lot of people think, well, if I just build this, people are going to love it. And it's no, you have to have energy to get to love it, right? It's all part of that branding exercise that Emily's talking about. And so one of the things that I thought would make my cow purple was, as Mañana No Mas and Kurt Von Onen, I do a lot of corporate training, public speaking, one-on-one coaching, business consulting, all the stuff. And I thought, well, let's wrap that messaging into the Mañana No Mas hosting and website building stuff, because that'll just show the list of services that we have that differentiates us from other agencies. And we ran with that for a couple of years, and we weren't really getting a lot of motion on some stuff. And so I started asking people, and I think this is one of the secrets of failure when it works, is I started asking people hey, you've been to my website, I can see you go to my website. So why are you confused? You didn't buy it. It didn't convert. Even if you became a customer of mine, you didn't convert because of the website. You converted because we had a Zoom call, or you converted because you were a one-on-one referral and we had a Zoom call, and then you saw the website. But you didn't convert because of the website. So I want you to go to the website and tell me why you would or wouldn't convert. And everything that I thought that made us unique as an agency turned out to be a distraction that caused people to think, if I'm so busy doing corporate training and public speaking and one-on-one business consulting, then I'm probably not very focused on building websites and running a hosting company. And so we had to kind of re-engineer Mañana No Mas to be Mañana No Mas is being rebuilt as a hosting and web agency, period. It's focused on that. And then all of that like soft skill stuff that I love to do, I moved over to my own website, kurtvanonen.com. But that only came, I would have never figured that out if I didn't ask people questions or get feedback from people. Everything I thought that made us unique and made us stand out turned out to be, in my situation, in my use case, turned out to be a detriment and not an asset.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really encourage people to walk through some things. I like the idea that you said, like, instead of coming out with a book all the time, promote the one until it has traction and then do something.
Yeah, at least try to make something stick with that one book. But, you know, these people are passionate about being authors anyway, so it doesn't even really matter that much whether their books actually sell. They're very proud of their books. But when we want to reach a bunch of people, like, these are the kind of people who they don't really have to make money with what they're making. They'll just keep doing it, which is great. It shows they love what they do. But they do have dreams of reaching millions of people, and we got to take the first step on that somehow.
Yeah. I literally have a coaching client that I've been working with for the last 2 weeks, and she doesn't care about money at all. She has a job, and this is like a passion project for her, and she's helping people. And I'm like, well, here's how we could drive some revenue down these 3 verticals in your project. And she's like, that sounds involved. I'm not really interested. I'm like, you can't support it as a hobby forever and not burn out or get angry about it. Like, you have to understand, once you start putting people into this website, you're going to have support requests and emails and complaints and personalities to deal with. And you're going to say, this would be different if I were getting paid, but I'm not making any money on this thing. Now I want to shut it off. And your passion will disappear if you don't feed it somehow. So, well, there we go. That's my business consultant coming out. So anyway, that's been interesting, right? Because, like, I'm a published author. I have 2 books that are published. And yeah, to your point, I don't actively promote them nonstop to sell and generate revenue. Instead, they were like almost like marketing pieces that just established that, like, hey, you know, I'm an expert in the space. I'm a subject matter expert. And if you have any questions in these fields, I can assist, right? And then when people say, well, how come you're an expert? I go, well, here's a copy of my book. And then they go, oh, you wrote a book. You must be an expert. It's just it's the human condition. Like, I didn't have to go to years and years and years of college to show that I was an expert. I published a book, and now no one ever asked me where I went to school anymore.
Yeah, I totally get that. The marketing books are a great top of funnel piece. And then if you really want to make revenue selling the book, you can sell, 200,000 copies for free, or for like $1, or for just the price of shipping. And then your next book, you will already be very established as an author who can distribute content.
Yeah. Well, let's jump over into question land, because we've got a couple of them coming in. And Hans, nice to have you here all the way from Germany. Hans, at the time of night that it is for you, you might be having an adult beverage and getting ready for bedtime. So we'll try and get to this pretty quickly. I want to offer courses via subscription model. Perfect, right? Basic, pro, and corporate. Perfect. It should be cancelable monthly. Again, perfect. The course content should be divided among the packages. How can I best configure LifterLMS for this purpose? Well, that really is a subjective question, Hans. LifterLMS is incredibly flexible. So what I would probably consider is, if you're on the standard native payment gateway through LifterLMS, so Stripe or PayPal or Authorize.net, something like that, you would use our access plans, and our access plans would be your subscription model. And so, yeah, you could set up a subscription for single access, for corporate access with groups. Groups is a feature we have that is available as an add-on or part of the Infinity package, the Infinity bundle that we have. And so groups allows you to sell one to many, and then a standard access plan is like selling one to one. And yeah, you can put it on a subscription plan. They can cancel the plan whenever they want. The plan being active dictates how they have access to the content. And so you can restrict the content to only people that are active. and you can build in. We have an assignments add-on. Quizzes come out of it, out of the core, but we have advanced quizzes if you want different types of quizzes, and we also have memberships. So let's say that your courses are many. Maybe you've got 10 courses. You could actually use the memberships to group those courses together into like segments. So let's say I've got 10 courses, but I want to have a membership that auto enrolls a student to the first 5 courses. You could make a membership, auto enroll to the 5 courses, and then you could have those access plans, again, selling one-to-one or one-to-many for the memberships with auto enrollment to the courses and lessons. So there's a ton of ways to do this. My advice, if you're new, is go to that link I mentioned earlier. That was the LifterLMS.com/try. That's a really great way to just be like, hey, I just want to play with this thing before I add it to my own website. Costs $1, so it's worth it. And then the other thing is, at LifterLMS.com, our upper menu has a menu item that says Learn, and then under Learn is Academy. That Academy has free courses in it that show you the basics on how to use LifterLMS, how to set up quizzes, how to set up access plans. All of that's in there. And so if you have questions about, like, I hear them talking, but I just don't understand what that would look like, you can just take a look at those courses. They're all supported by videos and tutorials, and there's a lot to learn there. So that would be a really great way to start. You say, oh, it's 7 p.m. Okay, maybe it's not late enough to think about bedtime then. But we do another call. We do another call in a couple of hours called office hours, and we have a lot of people in Europe that would show up, and like Melanie and Philip and a couple of other people. And it's always fun because it's nighttime there, and you guys are like sitting there with, smoking a cigar and having whiskey over ice or something, or a glass of wine, because it's the middle of the night. So it's always been fun. I like doing those calls. And then you say you want to offer a lot of micro-learning courses. First off, congrats to you. I think micro-learning is a super solid strategy, provided your content is engaging for those short spurts. But yeah, if you're doing micro-learning, then you're probably going to have a selection of courses, and then you could use the memberships to group those courses together in segments that make sense. And LifterLMS, this is something we don't talk about very often, but LifterLMS also has the ability to do course tracks, where you could have someone complete a series of courses for like a singular achievement. Course tracks. So that's something to check out as well. All right. Dell put in a comment. I haven't read the whole thing because it's long. Comment: with all the noise and distraction on the internet, how does the user decide who to hire in order to do their lifter work? I know the answer that you have on experts, but if you're just looking in TikTok, for example, how do you decide? Yeah, I know. And you said not a question, which is totally cool. That is the problem, Dell, is not the problem. It's like an opportunity maybe. When you get into these social channels, unless you actually follow them, like if you see a one-off video or 2 videos come up on your FYP page or something, it might heighten your interest, but I don't think it's going to cause you to make a purchase decision. I think in order for these platforms to really have any sticking power, users probably need to follow or share or subscribe or whatever, and then look at the body of work that those content creators produce before they make a purchase decision. So, for instance, and I'm going to mention this guy, I'm telling you, he should just start cutting me checks. Kevin Geary got all my money. Like when he said we're going to launch Etch, and you can't see it yet, and I don't even have a screenshot to show you, but we're going to make an all new page builder and it's going to kick ass. And I was like, yeah, I'm in, take my $800. So I paid the $800 to get lifetime access to Etch before I had even seen a screenshot or understood what the platform was going to do. But why did I do that? So what caused me to make that decision? And I think if I was to do some forensics on that, kind of cut this dead body open and take a look at what happened. Kevin had been making content about Elementor, about bricks, about WordPress, about Figma, and I had I'm not going to say I subscribed right away, but I saw enough of his content that said, oh, I should probably subscribe to this guy. And then when I subscribed, I started getting more notifications, and then the information got deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's when I realized, well, this guy's got his act together. Sometimes I don't like the way he phrases things or the way he goes after some people. But that's politics, right? If I can keep my head out of the politics of it and just look at the content, the learning capacity that gentleman could offer me, I was all in. And so when he came out with the product, it was a simple decision to make the purchase. There's another guy in the space that I'm very similar with, Adam Pricer, Prieser. So he is in bed with the Astra people, and Astra WP and all that other stuff. And so when he comes out with products, I generally give him a good look over, because I'm an Astra Pro user, and I use Spectra, and a lot of that stuff is out of the box, works good. Like I use Zip WP for some client work, and it just works really good. Let's see. Hans has a fear. I fear I lose the overview in the course list when I have more than two. Okay, Hans, if you have more than 200 courses, yeah, people do lose focus. Say hi. Is her name Emma, right?
Adelaide, but yeah.
Adelaide. She's
I
gone.
got my AirPods in, so.
Oh, all right. No. It says, is there a structure in LifterLMS to organize the classes? Hans, the answer to that is absolutely yes. You got to do a little bit of work though, right? So it's not like an out of the box it's not like click a box and XYZ. What you would do is you would create the way I would do it. I mean, there's, it's WordPress, so you could do anything the way, any way you want to do something, you can figure it out. But the way I would do it is I would create categories for these courses. So if you go into your LifterLMS menu and under courses, you're going to see categories. If you were to go into categories and start to, just list out all the different categories that these courses apply to, then you would be able to make a custom course catalog page that would be separated by category, right? So maybe you've got math, English, Spanish, German, French, Swiss, Italian, geometry, algebra, calculus. Like I'm just going crazy, right? So you got all these different courses. So you could say mathematics is a category, languages is a category, and then you could separate the courses in that way. We also have the ability, which a lot of people seem to miss, and it's just one of these really, really, it's like a super simple feature, but a lot of people miss it. If you go into the quick edit screen of any course, there is going to be like the post order that you can fill in. And typically it's like last in, first out in your course catalog. But what you can do is you can change the order, or you can manually control the order that the courses are displayed in. So if you had 200 courses and it was all the same subject, but in like a micro learning format, right? So you had like lesson 1, lesson 2, but it's courses, right? Course 1, course 2, course 3, course 4. You could actually like physically put those into a specific order that would always come up in the course catalog in the same order each time, if you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
What would you do? What would you do, Emily?
I would definitely recommend, if you haven't already, validating some of those 200 courses. Like,
a lot.
There's a lot. And I don't know, like, maybe you have students who are already enrolled in these programs, but, putting together 200 courses can be a lot of work. And so, I mean, I think in almost any situation, even if there are many courses, it's a lot of work. And so
You would almost
But
want
I
to have multiple pages instead of just breaking them into categories, but have like different pages.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the likelihood someone gets to the bottom of your catalog if it's one page is it's unlikely, unless they've already paid you, and are looking through your catalog. I'm curious what your subject matter is. If you want to put it in the chat, and if you have students already on another platform like Udemy or something like that, and you're moving stuff over, a couple curiosities. Han said, "Can I search courses by keywords?"
Yep.
WordPress. It does. It does have a search function. So
But the WordPress search function sucks.
it does. It does. There's like some complications with that one. Do you have a search recommendation?
I remember who I used it on. I think I have it in Art of Makeup. Let me go look because I want to get the right name because, I always mess up the names. So I'm going to sign into a customer's website and then look at their plugin listing, and I'll tell you what it is. It was like really advanced search or something like that. But of course, like all WordPress plugins, the nomenclature, the naming wasn't very creative. So I'm just gonna say, now that you helped me fix the mouse, it's like any other computer. It's not, I mean, like closing a window is different. It's on the other side of the window, but it's not switching over to a Mac isn't as hard as what I thought it was.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I think it's really advanced search. Let me make sure. Advanced search. Nope. Here's a better one. I've used this one a ton. I forgot the name of it. Relevancy. I'm going to go and grab the details. I'll put the link in the comments. WordPress plugin page. Copy the link address. Relevancy. I've used this on a ton of websites. I just forgot the name of it. Have you used Relevancy before?
No, is that one a free product?
Yeah, it's free and it's super easy. It's like straightforward, but it like works. So that's a good one. I put it in the comments. You know what? I'm gonna make sure that I put it in all the comments. How about that? Because I was just in that one. So
yeah.
Deborah
asked a question for Hans' question about putting courses in categories. Can you list the categories? Or would you use a membership for that? Since Hans has 3 memberships, that's a really great question because you could list out specific course categories that are available per membership. Now, if you have, let's say, 10 categories for 200 courses, and each different membership level includes some of each of the 10 categories, that would work. I think the biggest complication is conveying the value differentiation between each of your packages, and so that would all have to be handled by your pricing page. But when we're talking about listing things out, you could definitely list things out on the membership pages directly. And with 200 courses, that might be a great idea to just have like you would have some additional course categories, maybe a category per membership, and then categories for whatever your regular categorization system is going to be. So that would be a pretty good idea. That would be a good idea. You could put them on the membership page, or you could create an advanced catalog, or even search with relevancy.
Yeah. And relevancy, for example, because Hans is in another country, so I just want to mention it. It works with language like WPML and stuff like that. So you're able to search by different languages, which, in some spaces that's a difficulty.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I think one of the sites I used relevancy on, it was actually searchable with a drop-down list. Like it was like, I want to search for this keyword within this category or something like that. We built a pretty good search box. It was pretty cool. It was almost like, it almost felt like using, what is that, Document Expert Pro or something from Barn2 plugins? What's that?
Mhm.
What's
The
that?
Document Library Pro.
Document Library, yeah. It was like made things really searchable, like almost like working on a desktop.
And Deborah has a follow-up. I want to group my courses and show the groups, and then all the courses in each group. So group the courses and show the groups, and then all the courses in each group.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna just be self-serving right now, and I'm gonna go to window. Crap. Let me open it up first. I'll get there. In actionleadershipteam.com, that is one of my websites, and I separated the courses in a way that I think Deborah is trying to articulate. So let me go back to our StreamYard window. Let me go here. Let me share screen. Let me go to Action Leadership Team. Let me share my screen. Are you seeing an orange screen?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So let's go to all courses, and we'll share this tab instead. And this is the course area, right? And so the leadership is the category. Here's all the courses from leadership. Technology was the category, and here's all the courses from that category. Here's our free courses that go with the book that I wrote. So here's the category, here's the courses, and then personal development was a category, and here is the course that went with that. And so when you separate your course catalog by category, you're still listing all of the courses that are within that category on that page. Now, in Hans's example, let's say he's got 200 courses. So maybe his leadership category has 25 courses in it. Well, in that case, what he might want to do is actually break the course catalog. Instead of being all courses, he might want to break the course catalog into like /courses/leadership, and then have a page where it's the 25 courses for leadership. And then maybe he's got 15 courses for technology, so he has a technology page. And then what you would do is in your all courses page, that would just be buttons and links that went to those category pages, if that makes sense. That way it would help visually streamline the choices for the student. Hans says, I create courses about Autodesk Inventor with basic, advanced, and update themes. Autodesk, that reminds me of like BIM, building information management, right? Or building information modeling, where they use a special program to basically construct a building digitally before they build it, so they can look for problems with the architect's plans. I was real involved in that for a while. Yeah, CAD, yeah. But BIM was like a steroid version of CAD. And then there was a guy, Machinist X, that was who that was. Machinist X was a website that I had worked on. And that was a machinist that wanted to help people figure out mathematically how to convert their plans into actions and use the right equipment and the right tools. But that was like very similar, because there was a lot of courses for that, even though those courses were very specific, right? So it would be like a machinist has a specific question about, I'm using this grade steel on this machine to make this kind of product. What do I need to do next? This particular course creator created the courses to streamline off of a form. So people would fill in a form. They say, I'm using this material on this machine to make this kind of product, and it would recommend the course to them through their membership. It was pretty cool. The courses are like a table of contents with chapters in 3 sublevels. Perfect. Sounds like you got a plan. And Deborah says, I like that. Thanks. That's perfect. Well, Deborah, don't forget to like, share, and follow. Oh, and subscribe. Like, share, follow, and subscribe. Okay. Where are we at on time? 12:41. So we're still doing good on time, folks. If you have anything else you want to talk about, go ahead and put a comment into the comments. You know how I told you a long time ago, Emily, that I stopped using my computers to hold like any documents or projects that I worked on, that I bought this giant external hard drive, and everything I back up, everything I use goes in that hard drive. Everything's in the hard drive. And then I have these smaller, like portable hard drives. So let's say that I'm going to go and like I run the WordPress meetup in town. And so if I'm going to take my laptop to run that, I have an external hard drive. So what I'll do is I'll just copy over the Mañana No Mas folder from the big hard drive. And that way I've got like my local Mañana No Mas stuff. And I just take it with me on my laptop. I had a laptop that literally melted on my desk, like just overused it producing videos. It just got really, really hot. And eventually it warped and broke and didn't work anymore. And I lost a bunch of crap. Like I lost a ton of data. And that kind of taught me, okay, I got to back all this crud up. I think that process that I use as an agency now, I think that's what made changing computers so stinking easy, because I didn't have to move any files or folders or nothing. I just plugged in that external hard drive. I hooked up my 2 monitors, my keyboard and my mouse, fired it up. And then the hardest part was just trying to get that iCloud account recognized, because it was like, what's your password? I was like, well, I haven't had an iPad in 8 years. I don't know what the password was. But I figured out the password. I'm telling you, it's more of a curse than a blessing, this memory that I have. So I was able to figure out the password, and then it didn't reactivate my account right away. It like had to like do something with my phone or something. Anyway, it took a while, but it all got connected, and yeah, everything works. Now I just got to figure out if I really like it or not.
I understand that. Yeah. I really like it. It's to me, it's so simple, the UI and everything. And I have an iPad and an iPhone, so it all integrates. So if I write a note in one place, it's synced to all my places. And if I need to get a new computer, I can do that. I know I think at one point you were using like Evernote, and you had a different note-taking pad and everything where you would do handwriting.
Oh, that's my Remarkable.
Yeah, the Remarkable tablet.
I just got a new Remarkable.
Nice.
Got a new one.
Nice.
I'll turn it on. You know why I like this one?
Why do you like that one?
I'll show you in a heartbeat. I got to turn it on. So I literally just got this like a week or 10 days ago, and it's a bigger tablet. It's a bigger tablet than the other one, and it has shades and colors, whereas the other one didn't really have shades and colors. It was like monochrome. And so now when I do screen shares and I connect to the tablet, it will show color and stuff like that. And then here's just one example. Like I did some AI research for something I had to train on at church, right? So there's what it is. But see all the color in the tablet now? So I can literally be like, I could like select red marker, blue marker, highlighter, whatever, and use it, and it works. And then it saves it as a PDF. And then that PDF syncs to my computer, my laptop, my phone. So the stuff I work on in this tablet is available to me anywhere. And so I do my journaling in it. I do my planning in it. If I want to like storyboard out like what I think a new website project's going to look like, I kind of draw it here for the format, and then I duplicate it in my page builder, right? So it's kind of like gives me an idea to freehand something or visualize something before I actually start doing the work. So I dig it. It works. And Remarkable hooked right up to the Apple computer. Super easy. It was like done.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I dig it. And I got that new Tahoe update yesterday. So it gave me like liquid glass backgrounds and all that stuff on my desktop.
That's cool. I haven't made that update yet.
Well, I don't know. It works. So pretty happy. I get a MacBook Pro in a couple of weeks, and so so the reason that I have a laptop, I have a Lenovo laptop I've had for a few years, and the battery's just junk, and I'm not going to buy a new battery for a laptop that's worth like $200 or $300 used, right? So it works fine if it's plugged in, but I need something I can travel with. I need something I can like go to the coffee shop and meet with a client, open it up and work, and not have to look for an outlet, right? And so this opportunity came for this mini Mac thing, Mac Mini, and then the MacBook Pro, and I figured, well, I got to do something, so let's do it.
Yeah.
So you want to know what I'm going to do with my other desktop?
What are you going to do with it?
Okay, let's make sure we're not missing questions because I've been talking and not watching. I think we're good. Okay, so my wife and I finally started ripping down like wallpaper in the part of the house that, we live in out there, right? And our kitchen, we have like a galley kitchen, and then there's like this weird wall, and then it goes into our living room. And behind that weird wall is where the steps go down to the basement, which means that whole space up top in that weird wall is empty. There's nothing behind there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to build in shelves, kind of like a shelving thing, like a recessed thing in there. And I think I'm going to slap in like a 36 or a 42-inch screen and hook my old desktop in there and use it like a family information center with a sound bar, and it'll be like our little, like that'll be the house's stereo and everything.
Nice.
Because we usually just listen to Spotify or whatever. It's not like we're like the days of having a rack stereo system in your house. I mean, that's so like 1978, right? So, and our home theater, by the way, kind of gave up the ghost on us the last time we moved. And so I'm like, that's just perfect because we can Bluetooth from the TV. We can, Bluetooth to the speaker bars or whatever speakers we get, and everything will be mounted right up in there. And it'll just be like the smart controller for the house, right in the middle of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Pretty stoked. Told my wife, get a touch screen, and then it could be like the family calendar in there or whatever, she could, whatever we want to do.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, here comes Hans. He's back. Oh, there we go. See, that's what I mean. I got to click everything like twice. If I go out of the window and I come back and I click on something in Windows, I'm expecting to click on it and have it work. In Apple, I got to click on it like to activate the window, I guess, and then click on it to get it to work. I'm going to have to get into that. But Hans says, I'm going to use Elementor for my website. There's a plugin called LifterLMS Elementor. Is that the right tool to edit LifterLMS with Elementor? It is not called LifterLMS Elementor. I think what you're looking for is there's one called Liftor, Liftor. That one's free. And then there's LifterLMS, which is in our recommended resources list. That's lifterlms.com/recommended resources. And you'll see one in there called Tangible Lifter Element. And that is an add-on for Elementor. It's not through Lifter. It's a third-party plugin. But you can get that. You can just click the link in our recommended resources, and you can go ahead and get yourself Lifter Elements for Elementor. And you can edit pretty well in Elementor with that. Keep in mind, Elementor is like in the middle of like some pretty big updates going on with Elementor. So things are changing a lot on that side of the planet. And I always warn people, especially when someone says, I have 200 courses. If you have 200 courses and you're going to have a lot of concurrent users in your website, and you're using a heavy product like LifterLMS, I mean, LifterLMS is a dynamic tool. If you were to use like LifterLMS and say go to like WooCommerce as a shopping cart and try to put it all on Elementor, then I would really encourage you to really review the strength of your hosting package. It's really important to have strong, high-performing hosting if you're going to have like a heavy page builder and heavy dynamic plugins all kind of working together, especially if you have a lot of concurrent users logged in at the same time.
Indeed.
I'm a big fan. So I'll skip to this too, Hans. I'm a really big fan of the concept of front of paywall and back of paywall. So for front of paywall, yeah, make things pretty, style things the way that you want, design is your friend, all those fun things. But remember, by the time they make the decision to buy the course and the lessons are back of paywall. Nobody sees that until they make the decision to buy it and enter for the learning, right? So I really think that the style of the lessons and the style of the courses, the course pages, is extremely secondary. Other people will argue with me on that. In fact, Emily might be one of them, right? Because Emily's big on style and look and has a lot of content on YouTube about using Elementor for custom pages and all that stuff. But in the practice of running a business, I have a very big line of thought that there's front of paywall content and there's back of paywall content. And so when I think of things that are back of paywall, I really just use them out of the box. Courses, lessons, quizzes, assignments, all that dynamic material will absorb the overall look and feel of the theme that you choose. And so typically it looks good enough for show, and people are back of paywall. They already made the purchase decision. And so the design isn't as important as the front of paywall. And I think it's always cool to think about things like pre-launch, launch, and post-launch. Like I might pre-launch, I might pre-sell, and then I will launch, right? And then I'll get feedback from people. And then after I receive the feedback, or after I, maybe I get complaints, maybe I don't. But then once I have the feedback, maybe 30, 60, 90 days, maybe 180 days after launch, I'll start to re-examine the project and say, okay, where's the room for improvement? Do I have to change the user experience in the membership sign-up process? Do I need to further refine my course categories and find a better way to organize those for people? Do I need to have tutorials or onboarding videos made, or a CRM that's going to email funnel people through a process, especially in a website that's more complicated with lots of content? Those are the things that I would start to look at. And then probably way down the line, I would probably say, hey, now that we've got a ton of users and we've been experiencing growth and have revenue with this project, maybe now's a cool time to go in and really redo the look and feel of the courses and lessons. Hans says he understands, but I don't know if he understands what I just said or before. So, all right. That was my soapbox there. I really feel like I jumped on that soapbox. How do you feel about it? Because you're into style and design, and you want the lessons and courses to be special, huh?
I like to think about making your style and design as easy as possible out of the box. So if you have a theme like Cadence, Astra, or SkyPilot, preferably if you're building a new website, and you are just going to leverage their basic styling out of the box, I wouldn't recommend getting into something like Elementor bricks, etc., until you have built your site once. I think it just adds technical layers in the way of getting your products launched to people. Something you could build in SkyPilot, Astra, or Cadence is going to be good enough as far as design to sell customers into your course. When you want to integrate something like Elementor bricks, that's when you have a proof of concept, you have some customers, and you are ready to take your conversions to the next level. I always recommend focusing on copywriting up front. I notice a lot of people build courses with this technical marvel of a website. A lot of times people will build websites with Elementor, but they won't know how to write copy first. And then their Elementor site looks cool, but the text is just uninspiring. That's the problem I was going through with branding with a client. So what we have to do is figure out their branding components of what makes us different, what makes us unique, what makes us interesting, and how can we talk like humans? And then put that on their website that's beautifully designed. They have a beautifully designed website, but they're still struggling to convert because it's just we land on the homepage, we click the button in the hero section. There's a call to action. Always recommend having a call to action at the top of your pages, including lessons. And I just think about selling people from homepage to purchase page to the lesson pages. We're selling them on clicking through to our purchase page. We're selling them on completing the purchase. We're selling them on starting lesson 1, completing lesson 1, doing the quiz. Anything we're asking people to do, we have to motivate them and convince them to do it, that they're doing a good thing, that they're investing in themselves. Like, your personal brand can have a lot of different aspects to it, but I definitely recommend making sure that you keep your technology set up as simple as possible at the beginning and just focus on sales and convincing people to sign up for your free programs, sign up for your paid programs. And once you can convert, you can leverage the beauty and design to optimize. That's how I think about it. There's a lot of people on Kajabi, a lot of people on Udemy who are making millions of dollars, tens of thousands to millions of dollars per year selling their courses, and they don't have to worry about the technical side of things because while Kajabi is limiting, it has good reporting, and it just has basic styling. It's not really anything you can customize. And so when you come to WordPress, you're coming for the customizability, and so naturally we want to jump right into the customizability. I just always recommend for clients, I'm like, hey, let's do this as a phase 2, and let's get 100 customers enrolled, and let's get rolling on that, and then we can really invest in some design that kicks butt. What do you think about that?
I'm with you. How about that? I made it easy. I'm with you. I did screw something up.
What'd you screw up?
I'm going to have to go and do some searching now. The 1Password stuff. I went to activate the 1Password account and it says I need an API key or something. Secret key and whatever.
Yeah, you need like your username, password, and secret key.
Yeah. Maybe I have to plug in my old computer.
Yeah.
Plug in my old computer and go see where that stuff is.
Mm.
And I thought I saved it in Slack, but I don't think I did. So
the secret keys are complicated. I lost access to my 1Password account like years ago, and I had to like restart because I didn't know how important it was to keep that secret key somewhere. Because I had it in my 1Password account, so it's like, oh, I could just look in my 1Password account for my secret key, but if I need to log in, it can't be in there, And so that was
because it's a new device. I was like, oh, I'll just sign in with my username and password, and it didn't work like that.
Yeah.
Nice. Han says that was a lot of information. Yeah, it is. It is. It adds up fast. Emily and I have been doing this for years and years and years and years. I mean, I've been with WordPress since 2004. I've been with LifterLMS for like 12 years. But if you're like new, it's a lot to process, a lot of things to think of. And so when someone comes along and says, oh, I've got this large project I'm really excited to dive in on, it's a little overwhelming to think of like all the different nuances and elements and levels that you need to consider for your end user. We have a corporate value, right? That is like learner experience first or something like that. Like learner journey first or something like that. Yeah, something like that. And so we really try to encourage our course creators to really embrace their learner's experience and make things as straightforward as possible. Reduce friction whenever we can. Adam Silver, hi. That's it. All I got from Adam is hi. Folks, that brings us to the top of the hour. Thank you so much for coming. It's great to see the familiar names. It's also awesome to see like new names coming. Again, like, share, follow, subscribe, all those fun things. At the beginning, I did give you a 55% off coupon code. I'm going to put that back on the screen. 55% off at lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. Again, /AMA-gift. My name is Kurt Von Annen. I can be found on LinkedIn. I got like 3 requests on LinkedIn from these calls last week, Emily.
Nice.
So I can be found on LinkedIn. Also, the name of my agency is Mañana No Mas. Emily, you are WP Course Guide, right? WPCourseGuide.com.
Yeah, that's right.
And where else?
Where else? I am on YouTube a lot. I talk a lot about LifterLMS and Elementor. So Hans, if you want to learn about Lifter and Elementor, just Google LifterLMS and Elementor and click on one of those videos. You'll probably find my channel. And There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. I would just encourage you to, at the same time you learn Elementor, learn some sales and copywriting work so that you can integrate your beautiful page designs with some copy that convinces people to click the buttons.
The copy's huge. The copy is huge. I'm going through a project right now for an existing client for like 2 years. Very low conversion. And then I looked at their website and I was like, you're not talking about a pain point. You're not isolating a potential student. You're saying, yeah, I'm awesome. Look at these cool things I can do. But that's not converting people to pull out a credit card and swipe it and make a purchase. So it's a very difficult and ongoing process to examine your marketing and move forward. Russell, you are late. We were just signing off, but hey, I joined late. I've been using Advanced Quiz Add-on, and it has been an excellent tool for my work. I've noticed some issues with the text display in the software. I submitted a ticket, but the issue still persists. If it is you're trying to add a question, but you're having a problem getting to the fields to add the question at the bottom right of the corner, I would suggest trying to not minimize your screen, but when you do Control or Command minus, right? When you shrink the page display down, sometimes it brings that text back up, if that's the problem. If it's something else, I'm sure that support will get right back to you, or we'll see you next week. Talk to y'all later. Have a great one. Bye-bye. I don't want to leave the studio. I want to stay. I want to end the stream. Bye.